Imagine this. You're walking through your living room on a quiet morning when suddenly your legs give out. You collapse to the floor, the coffee mug shatters, and you're left shaken, wondering, why did my legs suddenly fail me? Most people assume it's age or arthritis, but the truth is often far more surprising. Many seniors I've treated were shocked to learn that the real culprit wasn't a disease but a simple harmless snack they enjoyed every evening. A granola bar, a handful of crackers, or a small packaged pastry might seem innocent, but inside your aging body they can quietly weaken the very muscles that keep you standing tall. Before we dive deeper, let me pause here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I strongly recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. And if you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Now let me tell you about a patient of mine, Mrs. Han, a 72-year-old retired teacher. She came into my office after suffering a frightening fall while climbing the 3 steps into her home. What puzzled her most was that she had no history of joint problems. When we reviewed her diet, she admitted to a nightly habit of eating healthy cereal bars with her tea. She thought she was making a wise choice. But her blood work told another story: consistently high blood sugar spikes, followed by steep crashes, leaving her leg muscles starving for steady energy. Those repeated sugar surges were silently accelerating muscle breakdown, a process already worsened by aging. Here's the medical truth: after 60, your body naturally loses muscle mass at a rate of 1 to 2% per year. This condition, called sarcopenia, is the single most important factor behind frailty and falls. But here's the hidden layer most people don't know: snacks high in refined sugar and simple carbohydrates, even when labeled healthy, drive up insulin levels. Elevated insulin doesn't just affect your blood sugar, it also signals your muscles to break down protein reserves, draining the strength from your legs. Over time, those little snacks become silent saboteurs of balance and mobility. The frightening part is how quickly this shows up in daily life. Mrs. Han told me that before her fall, she often noticed her legs trembling after just 10 minutes of walking. She brushed it off as fatigue, but it was actually her muscles struggling to maintain stability without adequate fuel. That single habit, eating sugar-loaded snacks at night, was eroding the very foundation of her independence. So if you think your evening snack is harmless, I urge you to take another look. What seems small today can become the very reason you struggle to climb stairs tomorrow. And if sugar-filled bars caught you off guard, wait until you hear about the next snack, one that many believe is energy-boosting but in reality sabotages your muscles even faster. When most seniors feel a dip in energy, the first thing they often reach for is an energy bar. Brightly packaged, marketed as healthy, and often displayed in the health food aisle, these bars give the impression of being a smart choice. But let me tell you the truth. I've seen over and over in my clinic, these bars don't give you strength, they rob you of it, especially in your legs. Here's why. The average energy bar contains more sugar than a candy bar, often hidden behind labels like brown rice syrup or evaporated cane juice. For an aging body, this sudden flood of glucose overwhelms your system. After age 60, insulin sensitivity naturally decreases. This means your cells can't handle sugar as efficiently as they used to. Instead of fueling your muscles, the sugar gets stored as fat while your bloodstream is left swinging wildly between spikes and crashes. Now let me tell you about Mr. Raymond, a 66-year-old retired carpenter. He came to me complaining of wobbly legs whenever he tried to climb ladders around his house. He prided himself on staying active, but he couldn't understand why his muscles seemed weaker despite daily walks. After reviewing his diet, the truth came out. He relied on protein bars as quick snacks, often 2 a day. He thought they were helping him stay strong. But his lab results told a different story: sky-high triglycerides, poor blood sugar control, and early signs of sarcopenia. The sugar and processed additives in those bars were actually accelerating his muscle decline, not preventing it. Here's the mainstream medical fact. Seniors who consume high-sugar diets are at significantly greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes, a condition that directly weakens circulation and damages muscle fibers. But here's the deeper biochemical layer: sugar overload drives up cortisol, your stress hormone. Elevated cortisol eats away at muscle protein, particularly in the thighs and calves, the very muscles you rely on for balance, walking, and preventing falls. Mr. Raymond's story didn't end there. After he cut out the bars and switched to whole food snacks like a boiled egg with a handful of almonds, his legs regained noticeable strength in just 3 months. He told me proudly that he could climb a ladder again without fear of his knees buckling. That's the difference a single dietary change can make. So before you unwrap another energy bar, ask yourself, is this giving me real fuel, or am I just setting up my legs for failure? The packaging may promise vitality, but inside it's often just a trap. And if you thought sugar bars were dangerous, wait until you hear about the next snack. It's salty, crunchy, and often shared at gatherings. Yet it slowly strangles your circulation and steals oxygen from your leg muscles one bite at a time. Picture this. You're sitting with friends sipping tea, and someone places a plate of crackers on the table. Light, crispy, and seemingly harmless, they feel like the safest snack in the world. But what most seniors don't realize is that every crunchy bite can quietly chip away at your circulation, and when circulation suffers, your legs are the first to feel the consequences. Here's the medical truth. As we age, our arteries naturally stiffen, a condition known as arteriosclerosis. This reduces blood flow to the extremities, especially the legs. Add high-sodium snacks like crackers and the pressure on your blood vessels skyrockets. Excess salt causes fluid retention, thickens the blood, and forces your heart to pump harder. The result? Less oxygen reaches your leg muscles. Without oxygen, your muscles fatigue faster, tremble sooner, and recover more slowly after even simple activities like walking to the mailbox. Let me tell you about Mrs. Choi, a 74-year-old grandmother who came to me complaining of leg cramps at night. She insisted she didn't eat much junk food, but when we looked closely, she admitted she ate crackers daily, believing they were a lighter choice compared to chips or cookies. Yet her blood pressure readings were consistently high, and her circulation scans showed narrowing in the arteries of her legs. The culprit wasn't fat or sugar this time, it was salt hidden in every handful of crackers. Here's the mainstream fact: seniors who consume diets high in sodium are far more likely to develop hypertension, which damages the blood vessels supplying the legs. But here's the overlooked detail. Crackers often contain not just salt, but preservatives that increase endothelial dysfunction. That means the lining of your blood vessels can't relax properly, restricting blood flow even further. This double blow silently starves your muscles of oxygen and nutrients. Mrs. Choi's experience was eye-opening. She recalled how she couldn't make it through her morning walks without stopping to massage her calves. Once she cut back on crackers and replaced them with potassium-rich snacks like slices of cucumber with a sprinkle of olive oil, her blood pressure stabilized. Within weeks, she noticed fewer cramps and stronger strides. Think about your own habits. How often do you casually munch on a few crackers with tea soup or cheese? It may feel innocent, but those small bites stack up to big risks for your circulation and strength. And if salty crackers shocked you, brace yourself for the next snack. It's often praised as protein-rich and convenient, but the chemicals inside it directly erode muscle tissue, pushing seniors closer to frailty with every slice. When you walk into a grocery store, the deli counter often looks inviting. Rows of neatly sliced ham, turkey, salami, and roast beef promise convenience and quick protein. Many seniors believe these are safe, even smart choices. After all, they're meat, and meat means muscle, right? Unfortunately, the truth is far darker. Processed deli meats may look nourishing, but they are loaded with preservatives and chemicals that slowly eat away at your strength. Let me share the story of Mr. Kim, a 69-year-old retired bus driver. He came to me with persistent weakness in his thighs. He complained that climbing stairs felt like carrying sandbags, even though he had no history of arthritis. His cholesterol and blood sugar were only slightly elevated, not enough to explain the fatigue. But his diet told the whole story. For years, he relied on deli turkey slices for lunch and ham sandwiches for dinner, believing he was making a healthy, low-fat choice. Here's the mainstream medical fact: diets high in processed meats are strongly linked to cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. All of these conditions impair circulation, starving your muscles of the blood flow they need. But here's the less-known biochemical reality. Nitrates and nitrites, the very preservatives that keep deli meats looking pink and fresh, generate compounds called nitrosamines in your body. These are toxic to muscle cells and accelerate oxidative stress, a key driver of muscle decline in seniors. Mr. Kim's case was textbook. His muscle scans showed reduced mass in his quadriceps. More alarmingly, his circulation tests revealed microvascular dysfunction. Tiny blood vessels in his legs weren't delivering oxygen properly. Once we cut deli meats from his diet and replaced them with freshly cooked chicken and fish, his energy improved within weeks. 3 months later, he proudly reported he could climb the subway stairs without stopping halfway. Think about it. Every slice of deli meat seems convenient, but what it delivers is a cocktail of sodium preservatives and hidden sugars that chip away at your independence. For seniors already fighting the natural decline of sarcopenia, processed meats accelerate the slide. So if you thought a slice of ham was harmless, remember Mr. Kim's story. And if processed meat surprised you, wait until you hear what comes next. It's a snack you've probably shared at parties, crunchy and addictive, yet it inflames your nerves and slows down the very signals that tell your legs to move. The sound of a potato chip bag opening is almost irresistible. Many seniors tell me they enjoy just a handful with lunch or during television in the evening. But what feels like a light, crunchy pleasure is in fact one of the most damaging snacks for aging legs. Potato chips don't just load your body with fat and salt, they also inflame the nerves that control muscle movement, slowing down the very signals that keep you steady on your feet. Let me explain. As we age, the nervous system naturally becomes less efficient. Nerve conduction velocity, the speed at which signals travel between your brain and muscles, declines by as much as 10 to 15% after age 60. That means every command your brain sends, like lift your foot or steady yourself, takes longer to reach your legs. When you add chips into the equation, the damage multiplies. Why? Because most chips are fried in oils high in omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, these are not harmful, but in the quantities found in processed snacks, they fuel chronic inflammation. That inflammation doesn't just attack your heart or joints, it damages the protective myelin sheath around your nerves. Without that insulation, signals slow down, leaving your legs feeling heavy, clumsy, or even shaky after a short walk. I'll never forget Mr. Alvarez, a 71-year-old retired electrician. He came to me worried about frequent stumbles when walking his dog. He swore he didn't have arthritis and his blood sugar was under control. But when we examined his diet, the culprit emerged. Every afternoon, he enjoyed a bag of barbecue-flavored chips with soda. He thought it was harmless, especially since he ate small meals otherwise. But nerve conduction tests showed reduced efficiency in his peripheral nerves. His legs weren't weak because of muscle loss alone. They were weak because the nerves controlling them had been dulled by years of inflammatory snacking. Here's the mainstream medical fact. Diets high in fried foods are associated with peripheral neuropathy, a condition that damages the nerves in the legs and feet. But here's the deeper biochemical detail: advanced glycation end products. AGs formed when chips are fried at high temperatures attack proteins in both muscles and nerves, leaving them stiff and less responsive. That means every handful of chips not only ages your arteries but also ages your nerve tissue prematurely. When Mr. Alvarez cut out chips and switched to roasted chickpeas with olive oil, a snack rich in fiber and anti-inflammatory fats, his dog walks became smoother. Within months, he reported fewer stumbles and a steadier stride. He told me, "Doctor, I didn't realize my nerves could heal, but they did." So the next time you hear the satisfying crunch of chips, ask yourself, is this crunch worth the risk of another fall? And if potato chips made you uneasy, just wait. The next snack looks innocent, even healthy, especially when dressed up with fruit flavors. But inside it quietly robs your bones and muscles of calcium, leaving your legs less stable with every bite. When you think of yogurt, you probably picture something healthy full of calcium and probiotics. For decades, yogurt has been advertised as a bone-boosting food, especially for seniors. But here's the uncomfortable truth: the kind of yogurt most people buy, the fruit-flavored sugary versions, doesn't strengthen your legs. In fact, it can quietly drain calcium from your body, leaving your bones and muscles weaker with every spoonful. Here's why. After age 60, your body's ability to absorb calcium naturally declines. At the same time, the kidneys become less efficient at filtering excess phosphorus and sugar from the bloodstream. Many fruit-flavored yogurts are loaded with both. The high sugar spikes insulin levels, which not only destabilizes energy but also promotes calcium loss in the urine. Combine that with added phosphates used as stabilizers, and you have a snack that pulls more calcium out of your system than it gives you. Let me tell you about Mrs. Park, a 68-year-old widow who came to me complaining of sudden knee pain and occasional trembling in her legs. She believed she was doing everything right, walking daily, avoiding soda, and eating fruit yogurt every morning for her bones. But her bone density scan revealed early osteoporosis, and her blood tests showed low calcium and magnesium levels. The culprit: those little yogurt cups she thought were helping. With nearly 20 grams of added sugar each, they were pushing her insulin levels into overdrive and accelerating calcium loss. Here's the mainstream fact. Excessive sugar consumption increases the risk of osteoporosis in older adults. But here's the lesser-known detail: high fructose sweeteners used in many yogurts interfere with vitamin D metabolism. Without adequate vitamin D, calcium can't be properly absorbed no matter how much you consume. This leaves your muscles weaker and your bones fragile, an especially dangerous combination when stability already declines with age. Mrs. Park was devastated at first, but she made a simple change. She switched from flavored yogurt cups to plain Greek yogurt topped with fresh berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Within months, her calcium levels improved, her knee pain decreased, and she noticed more stamina during her morning walks. Her story shows how a small adjustment in diet can translate into big improvements in leg strength and confidence. Think about how often you reach for flavored yogurt, believing it's a safe choice. The packaging highlights calcium and probiotics, but what it doesn't say is that sugar and additives are stealing the very minerals your legs depend on. And if you thought yogurt was misleading, wait until you see the next snack. It's bubbly, refreshing, and addictive, but inside it flushes out one of the most important minerals for muscle health, leaving your legs vulnerable to cramps and sudden weakness. For many seniors, nothing feels more refreshing than a cold soda on a hot afternoon. Some prefer the classic colas, others choose diet versions, and many believe that because it's liquid, it must at least help with hydration. But here's the hard truth. Sodas, especially those containing caffeine and phosphoric acid, don't hydrate you. They rob your body of one of the most important minerals for muscle health, magnesium. And without magnesium, your legs are left weak, cramp-prone, and shaky. Here's what you need to know. Magnesium is vital for more than 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. It helps muscles contract and relax, supports steady nerve signaling, and regulates blood sugar levels. After age 60, magnesium levels tend to decline naturally because of reduced absorption in the intestines and increased loss through the kidneys. When you add caffeinated sodas into the mix, the situation worsens dramatically. Caffeine acts as a diuretic, forcing your kidneys to flush out magnesium along with water. Phosphoric acid, often added to dark sodas, binds with calcium and magnesium in the gut, preventing their absorption. Let me share the story of Mr. Thompson, a 73-year-old former teacher. He came to me complaining of painful leg cramps at night that would wake him up in agony. He also noticed that his legs sometimes trembled after climbing just a few steps. At first he thought it was simply aging, but when we reviewed his habits, I discovered he drank 2 cans of soda every evening while watching television. His blood tests showed a magnesium deficiency despite his overall diet looking relatively balanced. The culprit was his daily soda ritual. Here's the mainstream fact: studies show that seniors who consume high levels of caffeine and soda are more likely to develop mineral deficiencies, contributing to muscle weakness and bone fragility. But here's the deeper biochemical truth. Low magnesium disrupts the balance of calcium and potassium inside muscle cells. Without this balance, muscles misfire, leading to spasms, cramps, and poor endurance. In Mr. Thompson's case, his nightly cramps were a direct result of years of magnesium depletion from soda. When he cut out sodas and began drinking mineral water with lemon instead, the change was remarkable. Within weeks, his cramps decreased, and within months, he told me he could finally sleep through the night without being jolted awake by searing pain in his calves. His walking also improved. His legs felt steadier and stronger even when climbing stairs. Think about it. Every can of soda might taste refreshing, but it comes at the cost of flushing out the very minerals that keep your legs stable. And for seniors already at risk of falls, that's a risk you can't afford. And if you thought soda was harmful, just wait. The next snack may seem comforting, especially with a warm cup of tea, but its sugar roller coaster sends your blood sugar soaring and crashing, leaving your legs trembling and drained of energy. There's something undeniably comforting about pastries, soft muffins, sweet cakes, or packaged rolls paired with a warm cup of tea. For many seniors, these little treats feel like a well-deserved indulgence. But here's the danger. Most don't realize packaged pastries create an insulin roller coaster inside your body. That means sudden spikes of energy followed by devastating crashes, leaving your legs trembling, fatigued, and far more vulnerable to falls. Here's the mainstream truth. After 60, the pancreas becomes less efficient at producing insulin, and the body's cells grow resistant to it. That makes blood sugar harder to control. Packaged pastries loaded with refined flour, trans fats, and high-fructose corn syrup push this fragile system to its limits. The quick sugar surge overstimulates insulin release, which then pulls glucose out of the bloodstream too rapidly. The result? A crash that leaves your muscles starved of the steady fuel they need. Let me tell you about Mrs. Delgado, a 70-year-old retired librarian. She loved her mid-morning ritual, a sweet roll with coffee while reading the paper. She thought it was harmless, just 1 pastry a day. But she began to notice her legs shaking after standing in the kitchen for long periods. One afternoon, while carrying groceries, her knees gave out completely and she collapsed. In the hospital, her blood sugar was recorded at dangerously low levels just hours after eating her pastry. That single habit had created years of sharp insulin swings, slowly draining her muscle strength and balance. Here's the lesser-known biochemical fact: pastries don't just affect sugar. The trans fats often used in them interfere with insulin receptors on muscle cells, making them even less responsive. This double attack sugar spikes plus receptor resistance leads to a cycle where muscles can't properly absorb and store glucose. Instead of fueling your legs, the energy sits useless in your bloodstream or gets stored as fat, leaving you weak and shaky. When Mrs. Delgado replaced her pastries with a slice of whole grain toast topped with almond butter and banana slices, her energy stabilized. She told me, "Doctor, I feel like my legs finally trust me again. No more trembling after simple tasks. No more sudden collapses in the kitchen." It was a powerful reminder that small changes in daily snacks can transform mobility. So if you enjoy those packaged muffins or cakes, understand that they aren't giving you comfort. They're draining the very energy reserves your legs need to carry you through the day. And if you thought pastries were bad, prepare yourself. The next snack might seem like the ultimate convenience, ready in minutes with just hot water. But inside those noodles hides a flood of sodium and MSG that dries out muscles and leaves your legs heavy as lead. Instant noodles, cheap, quick, and comforting. Many seniors tell me they enjoy them for convenience, especially when cooking a full meal feels like too much. But here's the danger hidden in every cup instant. Noodles are sodium bombs laced with MSG and preservatives. Instead of nourishing your body, they flood it with chemicals that dehydrate muscles, strain circulation, and leave your legs feeling drained of strength. Here's the mainstream truth: as you age, kidney function naturally declines. By age 70, most people experience a 30–40% reduction in filtration capacity. That means your kidneys can't clear excess sodium as efficiently as they once did. Each serving of instant noodles often contains more than an entire day's recommended sodium intake. For an older adult, that overload forces the body to hold on to water, raising blood pressure and thickening the blood. The result: your heart works harder while your leg muscles get less oxygen, leaving them heavy and fatigued. Let me share the story of Mr. Lee, a 75-year-old widower who lived alone. He relied on instant noodle cups for dinner 3 to 4 nights a week because they were easy and cheap. Over time, he began experiencing swelling in his ankles, shortness of breath, and worsening weakness in his legs. Eventually, he collapsed while walking across his living room. His lab tests showed elevated sodium levels, fluid retention, and early signs of congestive heart failure. The simple convenience of noodles had pushed his body into a crisis. Here's the lesser-known biochemical detail. MSG, or monosodium glutamate, commonly added to instant noodles for flavor, excites nerve cells excessively. This phenomenon, called excitotoxicity, damages the nerves that communicate with muscles. For seniors already facing slower nerve conduction, this adds another blow, leaving legs sluggish, clumsy, and prone to cramps. When Mr. Lee eliminated instant noodles and switched to quick, healthier alternatives like brown rice with vegetables or simple soups with fresh fish, his swelling reduced, his energy returned, and he noticed his legs didn't feel as heavy. Within 6 months, he proudly reported being able to walk to the local market again without needing to sit down halfway. Think about this. A cup of noodles might save time today, but it's slowly robbing your legs of the strength you'll desperately need tomorrow. Convenience is no substitute for circulation, stability, and independence. And now we come to the most important part of this journey. After uncovering the hidden dangers in 9 common snacks, let's talk about how you can take back control of your legs, rebuild strength, and snack safely without fear. You've now seen how 9 seemingly innocent snacks, granola bars, crackers, deli meats, chips, flavored yogurts, sodas, pastries, and instant noodles quietly strip away the strength of your legs. Each one carries its own hidden danger: sugar spikes, sodium overload, nerve inflammation, or mineral depletion. And together, they create the perfect storm for frailty, trembling, cramps, and falls. But here's the good news: with awareness and small changes, you can take back control of your legs and your independence. Let's start with the core truth. Aging naturally reduces muscle mass, circulation, and mineral absorption. That means your body doesn't process food the same way it did at 30 or even 50. What used to be harmless snacks now carry outsized risks. But here's the empowering part. The same way food can accelerate weakness, it can also rebuild strength if you choose wisely. Take Mr. Raymond, Mrs. Choi, Mr. Kim, and the others whose stories I've shared. Their decline wasn't inevitable. It was linked to habits, and when they changed those habits, their legs grew stronger, steadier, and more reliable again. That can be your story too. So what are the safe alternatives? Here are 6 senior-friendly snacks I recommend. Berries. Rich in antioxidants, they reduce inflammation in muscles and protect circulation. Almonds and walnuts. Packed with magnesium and protein, they calm cramps and support muscle repair. Plain Greek yogurt with cinnamon, high in protein and probiotics without the sugar trap. Boiled eggs, a complete protein that fuels muscles steadily. Hummus with vegetables, a fiber-rich snack that stabilizes blood sugar and nourishes nerves. Avocado slices with whole grain crackers, healthy fats that support nerve insulation and muscle signaling. Alongside safer snacks, keep these 3 golden rules in mind. Eat earlier in the day. Your metabolism slows at night, and late snacking overloads your system. Always pair carbs with protein or fat. This slows absorption and prevents sugar crashes. Never eat before bed. Give your muscles time to recover while you sleep, not struggle with digestion. Remember, your legs are more than muscles. They're your independence. They carry you to see loved ones, to the park, to the places that make life meaningful. Don't let a hidden snack steal that freedom. As your health guide, my message is simple: you have the power to protect your legs by choosing foods that work with your body, not against it. Every snack is a decision, one that can either weaken your steps or strengthen them. So if this message helped you, please let me know. Type 1 in the comments if you found value here, and 0 if you think I can improve. Your feedback means the world to me. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another tip designed to keep you strong, steady, and healthy. Together, let's make sure your legs carry you confidently for many more years to come.